They lied to us. They lied to us again about this psycho who carried out this mass shooting yesterday in Minneapolis of this Catholic church, Catholic school. Now, according to NBC News, well, at least it appears they lied to us. Either that or we have some really inept people running the Minneapolis Police Department, incompetent people at NBC News. But according to NBC News, Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said this morning on MSNBC that he does not have any information, has no information. Keep in mind, he's a police chief now of Minneapolis, about any previous mental illness of the shooter, and that they were never confined for mental illness. Never confined for mental illness. Goes on to say here, a person does not have a criminal past, except for maybe a traffic ticket. But a traffic ticket isn't really, or receiving a traffic ticket isn't a crime, it's a violation. Traffic violation. Quote, that is what the shooter's intent was to terrorize as many people as possible for his own personal gain. You've heard this before. Noting that a motive in the shooting is still unclear. But according to ABC7 Denver, it turns out that Robin Westman, whatever he, she, they, it, them wanted to call themselves, did in fact have a welfare check under the category of mental illness back in January of 2018. Well, report was dated January 2018. Police in Eagan, Minnesota, where the shooting suspect once lived, released a heavily redacted, quote-unquote, mental health report to Scripps News in response to a public records request for all reports involving Robin Westman. Is she mental, folks? Is she mental? Now, apparently, Westman was born in 2002, but the description of the call is, quote-unquote, mental health, while all information about the subject of the report is redacted. Why is all this information in this report being redacted? Or about the subject of this report being redacted? It lists Westman's parents under the heading Parent Data. Narrative of the report is redacted, but concludes with a note from police that, quote, there will be no further follow-up. Case status is closed. Why was this case closed? What happened during that incident? And isn't it funny, we haven't heard from the parents yet of this individual. Your son or daughter, whatever you want to call them, just carried out a mass shooting. They were neutralized by the police, by the authorities, and you are nowhere to be found as the parent of that individual. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right here. But guess what, NBC? Took me 30 seconds to find this article over at ABC7. Do your duty as a journalist at NBC News. Well, I guess that's why you have people like me, right? So this person did have a history of mental health issues. And I'm pretty sure it's going to come out that, in fact, they probably did have some type of criminal past, maybe a misdemeanor. Maybe they spent time in juvenile detention hall. But in my experience, somebody just doesn't randomly go out and buy, rounds and rounds of ammunition and go shoot up a school. That doesn't happen. There's got to be something else there that is driving this person to carry that out. So tell me what you think in the comment section below. But this person did have a history of mental illness. But the Minneapolis police chief goes on NBC News this morning, or on MSNBC, and says he does not have any information about any previous mental illness of the shooter, and that they were never confined for mental illness, never had a criminal history. What are you hiding, Police Chief Brian O'Hara? The public has a right to know. You work for them. They have a right to know what you know. You see, we're tired of the BS. We're tired of the BS. And we're tired of these people going in and out of the system. And you folks in Minneapolis or Chicago or LA, you name it, wherever the city is, or a city in the Midwest, wherever it is, we're tired of you turning a blind eye to this stuff. Sorry, but some people just shouldn't be let out. Some people need constant supervision. I know that would require you to do your job, but unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. But the Minneapolis police chief goes on MSNBC and says he does not have any information about any previous mental illness of the shooter. But here you are, ABC News 7. This individual lived in Eagan, Minnesota. It takes 30 seconds to find this. In fact, there was a welfare check on this individual back in 2018, or a report that came out in 2018 saying that there was a welfare check on Robert, whatever they want to call themselves, Westman. I'll tell you why the parents aren't talking. Because they know more than they're letting on, and they're trying to stay silent. The lawyers probably told them to. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You can follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, because I write music in my spare time. Go to X, Culture Confederacy, the Culture Confederate 1 on X. Now you can find me at Substack. So this is the Culture Confederacy saying keep up the culture. I'll catch you next time. God bless, and y'all have a great Thursday. Take care.